Julia from Julia's Palette Studio, my Patreon page, and also the name of my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to share with you a technique. I'm just going to show you how I mix it up. I'm going to do two different mixtures. And this is a medium that you can use with watercolor when you want to create different layering effects. And for better description, let's say you put down some areas of washes and you wanted to put down a silhouette of a shape or a pattern, let's say maybe using stencils, or maybe just let's say you're doing a landscape and you wanted to paint in like some branches and leaves on a tree. And the idea is that when it dries and you paint over it, the watercolor will resist it, okay? And but the fact that it's got some gesso in this mixture makes that area a little more opaque, okay? It's not something that you can really paint over once you put it down with watercolor, unless you use like kind of a lot less water in your paint, because the gesso does act as a resist because it's got acrylic in it. But it's really an interesting technique to use. I've used it in several of my watercolor, like when I start off with a watercolor collage. I've used this technique before, and I really like it because, like I said, the pattern that you put down or the painted shape that you put down, once you put it down, anytime you paint with the watercolor over it, it will act as a resist, so that image or pattern or whatever will always come through. And it's there's another pretty popular watercolor artist, and she uses this technique a lot, and I really am embarrassed that I don't remember her name. But anyway, I'm going to start. We're going to do this mixture with half and half, okay? This is 2 tablespoons of water, and this one is 4 tablespoons of water. So we're going to do half and half with this one, and then 2 to 1. 2 parts water to 1 part gesso with this one. So I'm just going to reach in here, and I'm going to open this bad boy up. And because of the fact that gesso is not toxic, I'm going to use my spoon. Of course, it's stainless steel, so I'll be able to clean it really well. I would not do this if I was using an oil paint. I would just have it specifically to, that's a little more than, that's a little bit more. So I'm just going to leave a little bit in the spoon once I put it in. So I don't want to overdo it, because if I overdo it, it defeats this purpose, this measurement. And, okay, so there is that. Okay, and let's do that. Okay, I think that's about right. Yeah, let's do that. Get it off my finger. And of course, I forgot to get a paper towel. Of course I did. That's par for the course. Okay, and this one is going to be 2 to 1. So we'll just be a little sparing on this one. Let's just make sure I get a level amount. And that looks about right there. So I'm just going to scoop that in. Scrape that all in there. And in order to mix it up really well, if you ever like do any mixing of mediums and things like that, or mediums with paint, I highly recommend these tiny little whisks right here. These are great to use. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to clean my finger off. This is not like frosting. You can't lick your fingers once you clean the whisk, I mean. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to gently whisk this in, whisk it up, get it nice and mixed. I want to get any lumps out. I just want a nice mixture. And it's going to be like runny skim milk, okay? It's definitely going to be like skim milk. So I'm mixing it up in this one. I know this one has a pattern to it, so you can't really see through it. But we'll just judge the viscosity. That looks nice and mixed right there. And I'm going to do this one. This is the 2 parts water to the 1 part gesso. Now this one's going to be definitely more watery, so you may not be able to do a stencil with this one, like with a sponge, because it is a little bit watery, but we'll see. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this all mixed up, and alright, that looks good. That's definitely like thin skim milk. Definitely. It's nice and drippy. Okay, so I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to get some watercolor paper for this demo, and some paint. The other thing too is, because this has gesso in it, if you want to tint it with some watercolor, I would tint the gesso first just a little bit, and then add the water, and that way you can actually have a color, and it will remain in the gesso. It'll bind to the acrylic. So that's something to think about too. Okay, so I will be back. I'm going to get the watercolor paper. I'm going to set up the overhead so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. But in the meantime, your supply is the gesso, water, and equal parts. So like I just used a 2 tablespoon measuring spoon because I don't want to mix up a lot. I know I have used this and done this in the past where I've actually done like a 1/2 cup of a 1/4 cup actually of gesso and a 1/4 cup, etc., etc. But that makes a lot, and I don't really want to use that much. So I don't want to waste. I know you can save it. If you have an airtight container, you can save that mixture. So if you want to do something like that, you can. I just don't like to use more than I have to. So anyway, I'll be back and we'll continue with this demo. Okay, so I have my, oh, this is in the way. Hang on 1 second. I have this big thing in the way. I have my stuff set up down here. And what I've done is, I'm going to just show you real quick. I've got the mixtures right here, okay? These are the mixtures. This is the 2 to 1, and this is the 1 to 1. This one is definitely thicker than this one. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of watercolor paper and I have divided it in half. I don't want to waste 2 big sheets of paper for this, so I've just taken the liberty to just split it in half and just show you that way. And I'm going to get some paint. I'm going to actually put some areas of wash down first, let that dry, and then I'm going to add some of this medium that I've made. Okay, so I'll be right back and we'll get started with some wash. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down some wash on this, and because I just want to show you what the effect is. If I just do this effect with just white, you won't really see. You'll see once you put another layer of paint on it, but right now I just want to lay a light wash of color. I'm going to just, on one side I think I'm just going to do, I think both sides. I'm just going to do like play. Like, I'm not, all right. One side I'm going to do play, abstract. The other side I'll do something that's more natural, like leaves or flowers or something that's more organic. And that way you can see the different looks of applications, okay? So right now I'm just going to go to my palette. I don't want, actually I'm going to just do, I'm not going to, I divided my sheet in half. I'm not going to go too close to that pencil line with the water. I'm going to put water down first. I don't want to go too close to that pencil line because I don't want it to bleed, but I want to get as close as I can. Alright, let's do that side. And I think the right side is going to be the abstract side. The left side will be the more natural, maybe landscape type side. Okay. And I'm not putting a ton of water down on here. Just, this is Fabriano's hot press watercolor paper. Wait a second, am I right? Okay. Yeah. Yep. I do love working with hot press. It's different for sure than cold press. It's a different reaction. Watercolor behaves so much differently. Okay. Alright. So for this side, got some, I've moistened the paper. I don't have it super wet. It's not, the paper's not super shiny. Maybe I should make it a little wetter. Just a little bit. So these techniques are interesting. You're not going to be able to use them for, like, if you want to enter a transparent watercolor show, you won't be able to use this technique for a painting for that show. But some shows allow you to use watercolor mediums along with watercolor. And it's those shows that you would want to use something like this. And I'm going to make this a little bit, this is a little bit bright. Well, I'm going to, I have my door open so it's a nice day outside. So I have the door open so the pooches can run in and out. They don't have to. Otherwise, I'll be getting up 1 minute after the next. And I'm going to do something interesting here. Let's just put this color down. Kind of like, I don't really want to make a rainbow, but we'll do a gradiated, gradual color shift maybe, eh? Right here. Make it a little darker here. And go up into that, and go back down. And what next? What next? I think I want to add some pink and red. How about that? How about that? I'll just do that right here. Oops. A little bit of undissolved dry watercolor there. And let's just do that. Yep. Go back up. Add some more back in there of that. I'm just playing around, not really doing anything serious with the wash, I just want to play around a little bit. Just a graduated wash. Just a little bit. Go back in like that. Up, 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 up. Down, down, down. And I'm going to go just a little bit darker there. And maybe, how about some purple? How about that right there, like that? Alizarin crimson with some dioxazine violet, but I'll put a little more violet in there. Just a touch. Just a little bit. Alright. That one's too watery. That one didn't turn out as I wanted it to. Let's do this. Tap my brush a little bit more. Oh, you guys can't even see it. Hey, look at that. You can't even see what I did. Alright, I'll have to go up higher. I can't really zoom out on this camera, but I can take this up a little bit. Move that up like that. Okay, see? I kind of... Okay, so I'm just going to let that side dry. And that's going to be my abstract side. There looks like there's something right here, but it's right here maybe? Oh, right there. Yeah, it's something in the paper, which is annoying. Could be, yeah, I probably should have dusted my paper off a little bit first, which I did not. I'm going to see about... Okay, so now the other side, I'll turn this around like this. And we're going to move this over here. I'm moving the mediums out of the way right now because I don't want to spill them. Okay, so this side, let's see. I'm going to see if I can zoom and pan this camera in so that it's not I don't want a camera switcher. I want camera effects. Hang on one second, please, so I can see camera effects. Here we go. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Oh, that doesn't help, does it? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Alright. So we shall see if this works or not. Okay. I'm going to move this over. Okay. Okay. So next I'm going to try... I'm going to do... I'm going to put water down again. And like I said, I don't want to get too close to the edge. But you know what? This is just a demo. But sometimes, you know what? Even though I say that, sometimes you get something going that could make a nice, sweet little painting. So I can't always just say, oh, it's just a demo, because sometimes you get wonderful things happening. And it turns out to be a great thing. So with this one, I'm gonna put some blue down for some sky, and then I'm gonna put some green down for some land, and we'll just see. We'll go from there, and we'll let that dry. Let's see. I gotta move this over. Again, hang on. I have to take care of this and move this somewhere for the time being because it is in the way and you guys cannot see what I'm trying to do. So I have to move this over. And I have to see if I can get this then. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. I know what it is on the camera. Okay. I have to go back into the camera settings for that. Which, hang on. That's not it. This is it right here. Hang on. Let's see if I can do this. No, that's a zoom. I don't want to zoom it. No, I don't. Nope. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay. Let's just have to figure this out. I don't have a... it would be nice if I had all these cameras on a ceiling mount, because it would get them high enough so that I could actually get the full sheet in. Maybe in my next, wherever I end up in my next place, I can mount something like that, as long as I don't know, I have no idea where I'm going to end up, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to get some glue going here. I'm going to clean this off. Let's clean that off. I don't want yellow. Alright, I'm going to go back to the palette. And I'm going to take some of the... I'm going to take some manganese hue. Can't get real manganese anymore. I actually have a very old tube of manganese, like really old, before they outlawed it, and it's probably like going to be my pride and joy paint, because I don't know if it'll probably dry up on me before I even use it, but I don't want to get rid of it. This is a very warm sky. Very warm. Yep. Warm. And there's not a lot of water on the paper, so I'm not getting... Let's just get that a little wetter right there. Go back and forth. The washes can be really tricky. Yes, they can. You have to keep going back, catching the line. I'm going to start on this side. Go back and forth. We'll see how that's catching that right there. So you gotta grab that right there. Yeah, I didn't want that. You don't want that vertical line edge. Get that. So obviously there was something in that. Okay, that's a nice warm sky, but I'm gonna do something a little radical. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of French ultramarine down here, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yep. I shouldn't be doing this, but I am. There we go. And you don't want to see brush strokes. Trying to get that out and I can't. Whatever that is. Okay. Oh, here I did this whole thing and you guys didn't even get to see what I did. It's very, very pale. You can hardly see the color at all. But it's there. I'll do the green a little darker so you can get an idea. And I'm gonna color this color down here. Yeah, we'll do that. Right there. Right. And I'm gonna go make it a little bit brighter as I go up. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this, and I'm going to add a little bit of permanent green light to this. The color that I just used was sap green light, or sap green, I'm sorry, not sap green light, just sap green. And I'm just going to add some permanent green light just to bring it lighter and brighter up there. Make it darker down here. I'm going to add a little more sap green to the bottom. Right. Now, if you were doing a horizon line, like a definite horizon line, you would definitely have to make sure that your line was level, okay? I am not concerning myself with that maybe as I should. I'm going to just tap my brush because I got a lot of paint on that. Ooh, there's a hair. Make sure there's no hair dragging in your paint. Yeah, I've been losing hair, which not fun. Stress will do that to you. I guess hormones do that too. I remember those days. Okay, there's that. I'm going to get more paint off of my brush. Drag it up, up. Go back and forth till I get a nice smooth. I don't want that dark spot right there. I keep getting that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to put some of that paint on, and I'll be back, okay? We're going to let this dry for a little bit, and I'll be right back. And we are going to go to back here. Okay, hello. I'm back. The washes are dry. Sorry, my hair is a little crazy because I did go outside and the wind was blowing my hair, so it's a little bit nuts right now, but that's okay. It's all good. All right, so now I've got some washes down, and I'm gonna move these guys over here. These are my little mixtures that I've got, okay? So the one in this, quiet on the set, the one that's in this pattern cup is the 1:1, and this one is the 2:1 with the water being the higher ratio, okay? So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint, but I'm not going to use a watercolor brush for this, okay? And the reason being is because the gesso is acrylic, okay? And so I'm going to use a brush that I generally use for acrylic paint because I don't want to ruin a good watercolor brush by painting with gesso. Even though it's diluted, I'm still very hesitant to do that. I don't want to. You know what? The brushes are, those are my tools, and you have to take care of your brushes. You really have to take care of your brushes. So I highly recommend you just use an acrylic brush. I've just picked 2 sizes. I'm not gonna do. I'm pretty much just gonna probably use this one. Usually I do stencils too. I don't know. I don't really have one that I want to try. But you know what? I will get one. I don't know if it's going to work because normally I use a sponge for that. But okay, so you know what? Get my sponge. I get my sponge. I just want to make sure that, you know, this is one of my watercolor sponges, and I don't want to ruin it with acrylic paint either. So got to make sure I clean it, okay? So all right, I'm gonna get a stencil, and then I'll be right back, and we'll keep going. Okay, so I have my, I'm going to use this stencil right here, and I'm going to use that on the abstract side, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply both viscosities to each side so that you'll be able to see the difference, okay? When you put more paint over it, you'll be able to see which one, you know, how they both work. So I'm going to go to my desktop here. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to take, the first one I'm going to do is the one-on-one, and I'm going to take I took my sponge, which I'm not really crazy about doing this, and I'm going to squeeze it out a little bit. So this is the one-on-one, and I want it just a little bit wetter. So I don't want it so wet where when I put it down, it's going to, like, you know, squeegee out from underneath. But this is the one-on-one, and I'm going to just take my sponge and I'm going to just dab it over here. I'm not going to cover the whole area. I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to put it in certain spots, and I'm just doing it ever so lightly. Like I said, I don't want a lot of moisture, and I see a hair. I got to get rid of the hair. I swear, sometimes I still find my old Aussie's hair in my studio stuff. He used to hang out with me up in my old space, my past life, and he was such a sweetheart. I loved him. I miss him so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just tapped a little bit of that on there. And this is the 1-to-1 mixture, okay? And I'm just going to go over it just a little bit again, just to cover, make sure I got some good coverage. Okay, I'm going to lift that up. Oh, I don't want to smear it. Oh, I don't want to smear it. Okay, lift that up. Now we're going to let this dry. Now I am going to do the same thing, only I'm going to take the other mixture right here, which is the 2-to-1, okay? Now I want to get this sponge cleaned out as much as possible, and I'm going to dip this in here. Now that's got a lot more water in it, so, and less gesso. So with it having more water, we're going to see what this does. So again, I'm going to take this, and I've got it here in the lower quadrant over there. I'm going to put it more in here, and I'm going to actually have it, I'm going to come down like right there, and I'm going to start doing that right there, just ever so lightly. Like I said, you don't want it to go underneath. You don't want it so wet where it schmoozes and goes underneath. So I'm just ever so lightly going to do that with my sponge with this thinner mixture. And alright, we're going to do that. Okay, and I think I'll put one up there. And maybe one, let's see about right there, what happens if I do that there. Okay, I'm sticking my sponge in my water because I want to clean it right away. I'm lifting that off. Okay, so now I'm going to let that dry. Okay, and I'm just going to leave my sponge in the water right now so it can dry. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave, I'm going to, just so you guys can follow along, the bottom portion of the piece will have the 1-to-1 mixture. The upper portion will have the 2-to-1, okay? And so now let's turn this around. And this one, I'm going to just do an outline in the background, I think. make some trees or something. Let's see, what am I gonna do? Put that up there like that so you can see. And let me get I need to move something on here so I can see. Oh, here we go. Okay, just disappeared. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move that there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my acrylic brush, okay, and I'm going to dip it in my 1-to-1, okay. Now, I have a feeling you'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm just getting a lot of that off because I don't want it gushing off my brush. And I'm just going to randomly, I'm going to see if I can get this to go smaller. I'm not sure. I tried to do this earlier. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's driving me crazy, so I have to see. Nope, it's not changing. Well, it is a little bit. No, it's not really changing it too much. But I'm going to move this over a little bit. Alright, I'm going to do that. Okay, that's still... Alright, so... Okay. Alright. And I'm going to move it there. And... Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to paint, what should I paint in the back? You know what? Maybe, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to do a tree in the background, like way in the back. Like, I'm going to do it off. Just in the distance, like a tree. That's actually a big tree, but and it's not going to have... See, now I got to be careful because I don't see where I'm painting. So, in a way, you have to... I need better light there. Look at that. I can only see a little bit of what I'm doing. I'm going to put some branches in that. And let's get some more branches going there. Just lightly. Yep, the dogs, every time they see somebody walk by or they are out and about, barking their head off. I think they need more exercise, that's for sure. So this, I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. And there. Oh, let's see. Alright, this, go like that. You probably can't even see me doing it. It doesn't show up, so you can't even see it on screen. But you will see what happens when I go to put paint over it. So I guess that's the whole idea. I'm going to go up here. There. Okay, and I'm going to come down a little bit into that. So let's see what happens there. Okay, so that's that one. So the one on the right is going to be the 1-to-1, okay? And I'm taking my brush and I'm going to rinse it off. And I'm going to take the 2-to-1 and I'm going to do a smaller one in the distance on the left, okay? So you won't be able to really see it show up when I'm doing it, but you'll be able to see it when we put paint over it. So, Remy, quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. So we're going to go in the distance right? I'm going to do another tree in the distance, a smaller one. Yeah. Oh, sometimes I wish I had a bark collar for him, but I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do it. Really, I don't want to hurt him. He's protecting. I realize that this breed of dog is known for their need to feel like they're protecting the house. And that's what he's doing, is he's protecting the house. He's protecting me and the house. So I have to be a little bit patient. But sometimes it does get annoying. I just show him the squirt bottle, hoping that he'll be quiet. Right? Alright. I just have to show him the squirt bottle. Here we go. That tree is a little bit smaller, but that's just... Okay, so we're going to let this dry, okay? And then we are going to come back and add some wash over it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I am going to take some paint and we're going to paint another layer over this, and I'm going to get rid of this real quick so I don't accidentally. All right, so I'm going to move to the palette real quick. Okay, I'm going to take some, I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to take some, I'm going to make this, let's see. I'm going to paint some maybe trees in the background. Let's pretend we're going to paint some trees in the background. Okay, now just remember this is just for a demo. This is not a fancy great painting, okay? This is just a demo. So I'm going to add a little bit of alizarin crimson to that. I want to neutralize this green a little bit, bring it down a notch. Let's put some more in there like that. All right, and I'm going to paint. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to dab some of that paint off. And I'm going to paint, let's say I'm going to paint, let's see. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go and get some purple instead of red, okay? So let's do some dioxazine violet. Oh, I'll put that there. Because I want it to be a cooler green. And I'm going to take some, a little bit of sap green. And I'm going to put some over here, in there. Let's dull that down a little bit. Okay, and where's my testing paper? Every time I need a testing paper. So I'm gonna, okay, that's what I want. It's in the distance. And I'm gonna take some sap. I'm gonna take some of Hooker's green, and I'm gonna put some of that in there too. Okay. So I got two greens going on. Okay. So let's just say, let's see. Yeah, alright, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to take some of that, and I'm going to just paint some. Yep. This may not have worked, but I hope so, because that would be awful if it didn't. Well, I think it's there. I see it.
It's just this isn't dark enough right now. So let's make this a little bit darker. Drop in some more. We're going to pretend that there's a bank of big, beautiful pine trees behind that one, right? And we're going to go like that. Actually, that wasn't supposed to be like that because that's behind it, not in front of it. So we'll just pretend that wasn't there. Okay? And go here, get some more, put in some more. Let's just pretend you need some really dark paint right here. And I'm just going to pretend that those are pine boughs that are going in there. Yep. Yep, let's see. Yeah, let's take that, go like that. Yeah. And I'm going to take this one here. And we're going to go in here. Let's see if I can even see that other one. I'm going to pretend there's a hill back here, I guess. Let's see. I want a different kind of a shrub, so I'm going to paint just a shape in here. It's a different kind of bush, right? Different tree. Oops, that's not the one I want. I want this one. Let's get some more sap green on that. Yep, here. So let's just do this. Oh crap! Pardon my French. You're not even seeing what I'm doing. This is terrible. Okay, let's go back here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm adding. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm adding, and I noticed that most of the stuff that I did is over here a little bit, and I'm going to try and get it to go a little darker. Okay. So this one is a little hard. These are a little hard to tell. I see it, but it's like a ghost image, okay? Let's see if I can go in. Let's do some. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna just drop in some dark color here. We'll see. Dark. That's too blue. Way too blue. I'm going to have to adjust this. Yep, I'm going to have to adjust this because, all right. Okay. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add more purple to that. I'll do purple in that. Let's just add more purple. Get it almost like a brown. And I'm thinking okay, we're going to have to do something else too. Okay. I see it right here. I see it right there, but I don't have the I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to take some purple paint and I'm going to lay some color down. And this is a much better example of what you get with this, okay? So the darker the color you lay down, the more it's going to show up, okay? You see that beautiful pattern that came through, and you're still going to get it moving forward or moving along this way, but it's not going to be, oop, I had some paint in there, like a piece of paint that just decided to. So I'm going to add just a little bit darker. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add some dark in there. Yep, I'm going to do that. Because I really like that. I really like that. So this is the effect that you get when you create that. When you use gesso with the water. Now mind you, this is the this one is the heavier application. It's at the bottom, okay? So the one up here is not going to be as visible. It's going to be a lot more subtle because there's less. This paper is not my favorite paper. Next, something. Okay, I'm just going to feather that out, and I'm going to feather it out up here. I'm going to feather that out up here. Alright, so now I've got that little corner done. And I can add, I'm going to add a little more of that pinky color. I'm going to add some over here just to break it up. It's just going to be a little more subtle, moving along, moving forward. Okay. Like I said, this is just a demo of what you can do using this technique. But you see, it gives you this wonderful imagery. So I'm going to continue my water. I'm going to lay some more water down. I'm going to lay some up here. This is where the other, here, I'm going to bring this down so you can see this application here. Right, so I'm going to lay more water here. There's another little Riley hair there. Riley, you're everywhere, even though you're not here anymore. Those little hairs. Boy, do they keep coming. Okay, I see it under here. I see it. It's very light. So I'm gonna mix up some orange. Let's mix up some orange. I want to do some orange. I want it dark enough though, so I'm going to add a little bit of that to it. And I'm going to start putting paint down here. Now, there we go. I see. Oops. There's that. Now this is hardly visible. Very subtle. It's like almost where it's not even there. It is there, but it's not there. Sort of like a real ghost image. I had to get rid of that hair, sorry. I mean, I can see it. I can definitely see it, but it's so much more subtle. So the only thing I can say with this is that I would not do I mean, the idea is just kind of a ghost image, you know. But remember, the darker amount, the darker the paint, the darker the color. Let's say the darker the color, not the thickness of the paint, but the darker of the color. You're gonna get more of a pronounced effect, like the bottom. But this is the 1-to-1, 2 tablespoons water to 2 tablespoons gesso, and this is the 2 tablespoons water to the 2. No, this is the 1-to-1, and this is 4 tablespoons water to 2 tablespoons gesso. So this is 2-to-1, 2 parts water to 1 part gesso, and then this is the 1 part water, 1 part gesso. Okay. So this is the effects that you get, the ghosting, and I think it's really cool. And there's a lot of ways you can use this. Like let's say I was gonna do a whimsical floral. I would lay out my drawing, and then I would do something like this in random areas in the background. But you got to keep in mind that whatever you paint over this is going to come through, okay? Because the watercolor, it won't cover it up unless you paint really thick, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want that thick of a color with watercolor. You really don't. So yeah, you could do like a really cool abstract kind. You could do a really beautiful kind of a contemporary abstract floral piece, anything really, and do things like this in the background just to create some interest, some visual interest. Now the trees, these aren't showing up because this isn't solid. I'm going to go back in and see what I can get, if I can get more out of that by adding more color, darker color with this, because right now it's not doing what I want it to do. I can see the gesso areas, but it's not coming through because, like I said, the paint is out. Sorry, I just smacked myself. I'm just going to see what happens if I do this. Let's see what happens. I see. Okay, I'm starting to see more come out, but I should have just done another demo like the one up there, but I decided to get fancy, and that didn't work. So, yeah, this one is not... it's not doing what I had hoped it would do. I think my design, if I had done You know what? Let's just do this. I'm just gonna do this. Let's just get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's just paint this green. Okay? Now we're painting that. We're getting rid of all that busyness. Okay? Now you're seeing some of that ghost image come through now. Okay? It was too busy, so we weren't getting the painted image with the gesso coming through. Let's see. Let's get it a little darker in here. I'm going to drop some darker paint down in there. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Definitely seeing it now. This paper's really interesting. Look at all the dots in it. I don't like that. That's really weird. I don't like that at all. Okay, I'm gonna get some more purple in here. Let's see what happens with this one. Let's see, let's mix this up. Let's get this, loosen that up. Loosen up some of that paint. This one, I'm not getting the same effect because, yeah, I'm not really seeing it that much on that one. Not at all. So we're gonna have to let it dry. So this one, that didn't work out. I don't see it. I don't think I painted it as thick as I should have. I see a little bit, but I don't see enough. I see it here. So when that dries, you'll definitely be able to see. But the other one, I'm not seeing it. Let's see, one more try there. Nope, I'm just not seeing it come through. I'm gonna lay it down, see what happens when it dries. I'm just gonna let that dry and see what happens there. See if any of it comes through once it's totally dry. But this one is, so what I would do, I would not do a texture over that at all. Just paint a solid color or a gradient wash of a dark color to have that come through. Like, let's say you were doing a night scene, that'd be perfect. If you were doing a dark sky, that'd be perfect for that. Absolutely. And then this one, so this one, you still see the pattern, but it's very faint. And then again, and even if I were to make this darker, let me go darker and show you. It's still going to be less visible. Let's get some red in there. Let's get some red. Let's do some red. It's still going to be visible, but not as much. Yeah, it's still visible, but it's not as pronounced. The pattern is not as pronounced as the other one. Just a little softer. But that's okay. You know? It's like I said, it's like a little bit of a ghost image. So you got that one. Yeah, you got that one. That was actually really there. Drop in some yellow, make it more interesting. And I'm just going to let that dry I'll just even it out there. Let's just get some more water in there and spread it around. Let's kind of bring these together a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to let those all dry, and then we'll just come and do our final analysis at the end here. Let's see what we think, okay? But this is an interesting thing to try, especially if you want to switch things up a little bit, okay? Okay, so here's, I guess, what I'm gonna show you. Oh, okay, that's not gonna work. I don't know why. Oh wait, maybe I need to turn this off. We'll turn this off real quick. That'll help. Okay, so so this one right here, in the end, you can see just a faintness of that ghost image of the tree right here. I can't, okay, let's see, I can do that. So you can see a little bit right here. This one didn't show up. I didn't use enough paint or enough of that mixture on the brush. So that one did not show up. So I apologize for that. That was not a good demonstration on that one. This one, I could have gotten a little heavier with that medium as well with the brush. It was a little difficult to see. I probably should have had a better light on that. But these give you a better idea of what you get when you do this one. Let me move this out of the way so I don't get noise. You see a faintness, you see like a faint ghost image in this one. That is the 2 parts water with the 1 part gesso. And then this one, you see it a lot more. It's still like a ghosty image. I could suggest that you use a tiny bit more gesso, like experiment. But the problem is if you use too much gesso, then it's going to be too, nothing will stick to it. It'll just show up as white. But that's something you to definitely try. I know I've done it in a couple other paintings where I've added more, but the watercolor doesn't take on it at all. But it definitely leaves more of a distinct image. But if you want just that ghost image, just that real subtleness, then you would use this one. So I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea of what you can do, what else you can do with watercolor as far as creating interesting textures and backgrounds. I definitely know that for this, you're going to have to use a lot more of on your brush, you're going to have to use a lot more. I didn't have enough on my brush, but you can see the image of the tree branches that I painted in there. You can see it on the first one with the ratio of 1 to 1. It's just that you cannot see it, not really, on the other one. So be mindful of that. You can't get super delicate if you're using these ratios. If you do add a little bit more gesso, like I said, don't overdo it, because then none of the watercolor will not stick to it at all. You won't get any color that lays on it. But I mean, experiment, have fun. I mean, this is something you can do a gradual mixing, a little bit along the way, and see where it takes you. Painting's all about exploration. It's not a set formula. Like when you're creating and you want to experiment, create something new, and create like a different background, something interesting, that this is where your creative process comes in. This is where exploration comes in. So it's a wonderful tool to use. Use your head. You know, I experiment. Like I said, you don't have to follow me exact. Like if you want to take it a little bit like up a notch, like Emerald Lagasse says, you know, add a little more gesso to it. Make it a little bit more. It'll be more white for sure. Um, it'll be more white. And actually, if you want to just see what happens if you lay down straight gesso and then paint watercolor over that, see what happens when you do that. Um, there have been times when I've actually done that in certain pieces. But then again, you have to be mindful that those pieces you cannot put in transparent watercolor shows. I mean, some shows are pretty strict about what you can do and what you can't do. So you have to just, you know, think about that when you're doing it, or like when you enter. So I am so happy that you guys took the time to watch, and I'll be posting another one soon. And in the meantime, thank you so much for your patronage, for your support. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Without you, I mean, I basically, you know, it helps. I need new paint. It helps that that I have patrons that support me. That, you know, if I need to get some paint, a tube here and there, which I do need now. So I really appreciate it more than you can imagine. So yeah, and if you want to message me, drop me a line, please feel free to do so. I will be happy to answer you back. And in the meantime, guys, God bless. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And you have a great Sunday tomorrow, okay? Have a great week, life, and God bless you. And I'll be talking to you soon, and we'll be catching up again real soon, okay? Take care, guys. Much love. Thank you.